The grand final replay was today's offering at Princes Park, where Demon fans were hoping for some revenge after the Hawks handed Melbourne a record 96-point thumping in the big one last September. Since 1985, in fact, the two clubs have met on 9 occasions, with Hawthorn winning 7 and Melbourne 2. The most notable being, of course, the last kick job in the preliminary final of 87 and, naturally, the grand final 1 year later. Today, the Hawks were going for their 10th win in a row, but a side already depleted by injuries and suspension. Paul Abbott was another to be sidelined after last week's 5-point heartstopper against the West Coast Eagles. And Melbourne too made one late change to their selected side, Bailey coming in for Yates. And like the MCG, naturally enough, I guess, the ground resembling a quagmire. With me in the commentary box are Ian Robertson and Ross Glendinning, and tonight we pick up play with some highlights of the first quarter.
The mudbath at Princes Park gets underway, a replay of last year's grand final. Umpire Rowan Saul start proceedings. O'Dwyer gets the first tap out. And after 20 minutes or so, we won't be recognising these players. Chris Mew can't get clear. And perhaps Ross Glendinning, a little strange that not more players opting for the longer jerseys today, longer sleeve jerseys.
Yes, even if we don't get rain, but it's still going to be very greasy, would be advantageous.
So neither side making too many metres. Knocked down by Deer that time. Good tackle by Condon. It comes to the mud heap. Oh, Tuck sockets it off the ground rather expertly and finds Tony Hall. Hall goes for distance with the kick. Out comes Dunstall. Did he get a push in the back from Hughes? No, says the umpire. Pritchard has a snapshot. Doesn't get the distance. Marked by Johnson. Oh, a very badly directed kick, or it could have been that way, but Phoebe takes the mark. Dwyer already getting into the thick of things. Grinter the target. Morrissey in front. Strong mark. Into the pocket for Buckenara, who gets hipped out of the road by Lovett and gets a free kick.
Be a good contest between those two, Peter. Buckenara's been in terrific form, and Lovett certainly Melbourne's best halfback flanker.
One of the best stoppers in the game, I think, Lovett. And as we watch that again, well, he did get a push in the back, but Buckenara did make sure the umpire saw it. Need to be a miraculous kick from there. It won't be a score. Oh, Platten! From mid-air, has goal.
Well, certainly a good start for Hawthorn, but what great roving from John Platten, also another player in fine form. The kick coming from Gary Buckenara, perhaps the informed player for Hawthorn at this stage of the season. But John Platten, a perfect example there of how a rover should read the ball off the pack. Big contest in the air, Platten in the right position, kicking the ball through in a mid-air shot. Good start for Hawthorn.
So, Johnny Platten, ever alert. Ball up in the centre. Knocked down by O'Dwyer. Kicked by Platten towards centre half forward for Hawthorn. Good punch away by Buckenara. Chance now for Melbourne to break clear. Wide to half back. Overrun by White. Chance now for Condon. Short pass by Condon. Was that marked? No, play on, says the umpire. Curran, the Hawthorn player, who couldn't quite get his arms underneath it. And the umpire will come in and ball it up.
Late change in the side for Melbourne. Brett Bailey coming in for Graham Yates.
Ball up about 70 metres away from the Hawthorn goal. It comes out the back. Chance now for Dipia Domenico. Struggling for possession. Newport on the bottom of the pack, and Newport will get the free kick. A little bit of crudeness about the Hawthorn players' attempts there to dispossess Stephen Newport. Sloppy looking kick up towards the wing. Great gather there by Mew, and a thumping kick by Mew up towards half forward, ill-directed, and coming in reading the play well was Gary Lyon. Short pass okay. Unfortunately, the mark was dropped there by Phoebe, and it goes over for a boundary throw-in. Definitely would have been a mark if Phoebe could have held it, but now we've got a boundary throw-in.
Dipia Domenico thinking originally he had the free kick for out of bounds on the full. Neither ruckman gets an effective tap out. Eishold goes for the lucky hand pass over his head. Did come off. It got to Spalding and turned to Phoebe. Up the centre wing. Tuck and stretch contest. Tuck in front. And that's the place to play today. Tuck to Platten. Good handball under pressure. High kick. Thumped away by Lyon. Having a good year, Gary Lyon. Condon almost holding the ball. Johnson's tackle was effective. Picked up by Phoebe. Short pass to White. Marking in front. He'll take that grab on centre wing in front of McGuinness. Not a good hand pass from Sean White. Grinter drives Melbourne forward for the first time today. And socked away for the Demons by Steins, wearing the long sleeve jersey. Langford gets sandwiched. I think that's Mew underneath all that. Holding the ball.
Michael Tuck's in trouble with a finger.
Ross, that's going to be
a
hard.
penalty as well.
That's going to be a difficult decision for the umpires today, isn't it, holding the ball?
Certainly is. They've got to give the players every opportunity.
Dislocated finger to Michael Tuck, and they are oh so painful. So Melbourne's first goal will come up from this kick. It's right on the goal line. And he would have to fall over to miss it, Greg Healy. So scores level at Princes Park.
Yes, exactly right, but he'd have to fall over to miss that. But as Ian mentioned too, it's going to be very difficult for the umpires in these conditions to pick those free kicks, but they're going to have to be consistent.
That's
so
the
the
thing,
players
isn't it, Ross?
know exactly what they are expected to do. And if they are consistent all the way through, then it makes the game far easier to read, and the players know exactly what's going on.
Well, I hope they are consistent on that, because if they can eliminate packs on a day like this, it will make it for a better spectacle. Wet weather football isn't that attractive to watch. Scores level. Knocked down by O'Dwyer. Doing well at the centre bounces so far. Platten picks it up. Gets scragged. Spalding breaks clear. Strong mark to Langford. Steins picks it up. Now that should be 50 metres as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
This is the contention where the players generally sometimes don't hear the whistle because of the crowd noise. They play on, which is the right thing to do, and sometimes they are penalised because of that.
Langford's kicked back into the centre. Platten doing the roving. Dersma there for Melbourne. Kicks them up to within the 50-metre line. No mark taken. Ayres kick off the ground back in towards the centre. Look at that ball stick in the mud. Spalding, the Melbourne player, can't even get the ball 5 metres clear to his teammate. This kick is going to land in the arms of a Melbourne player. It's Johnson. He sums up the situation pretty well. Kicks the ball in towards the forward pocket. Here's a chance for Collins. Hard up against the boundary line. Can't do much with it. And the field umpire asks the boundary umpire to throw it in right on the 50-metre line. Unbelievable conditions here at Princes Park. Don't know whether I've seen this for quite a long time. Healy takes the ball from the throw in. Chance there for Howard. He can't mark the football. Striving hard now. Newport kicks for goal. It's there.
Touched, says Gary Ayres, but the goal umpire won't agree.
All clear.
Yes, well, Newport was the player that kicked the goal, but the fellow doing the hard work was Tingay. He got the ball out from that congested area to Newport, who did a very quick snapshot at goal, an effective one, even though Gary Ayres suggested the umpire that he may have touched it here. You see Tingay just scooped the ball out from this contest, giving Newport a quick chance to shoot at goal. Did so accordingly. The umpire paid it.
So Melbourne hit back with 2 quick goals, one from a controversial 50-metre penalty, knocked down by Ayres. Morrissey, Johnson. Melbourne getting it out of the centre, playing in front at the moment. Collins doesn't get clear with it. Newport, who kicked that goal. Out to Tingay. Gets buffeted over. That should be downfield. That will be a free kick or another kick.
Certainly downfield, Peter, correct.
Well, it went through for a score, which was a behind. So he would be given the option of another kick, wouldn't he, Ross?
Yes, and that's what's happening. Jim Steins, no, Howard is the player that will receive the relayed free kick. So the umpire's in control here, which is good to see.
Quick question, Ross. How would the umpire know which player was to take the kick at full forward?
Well, you're quite right there, but they just try and show their assertiveness and just select the player to demonstrate some sort of control.
That's a goal. 2 from free kicks to Melbourne. They lead by 6 points.
Yes, and John Houghton, only his second game for the Melbourne Football Club at full forward on Gary Ayres, with Chris Langford picking up the taller Jim Steins, with O'Dwyer starting the ruck for Melbourne. And with 3 goals on the board at such an early stage, these goals will be crucial as the ground becomes heavier, the ball becomes heavier, and the players' legs become even more tired. Early goals will be crucial.
Howard, the Melbourne player in the picture, the goal kicker. O'Dwyer gets the tap out. Newport's a chance. Oh, a real struggle for possession, and a free kick has been picked out of it. It's going to the Hawthorn player, McGuinness. McGuinness, a high kick, covers about 35 metres. Situation made for defenders. Morrissey struggling hard at the bottom of the pack. Platten's in there, and the umpire will come in and ball it up. The centre square area here at Princes Park is an absolute mud heap. O'Dwyer gets the tap out wide. Chance for Tuck. He couldn't get the ball clear. Tingay's in there for Melbourne. struggling hard. Now a chance for Pritchard. He can't break clear. Very, very difficult, and the umpire will come in and ball it up again. I don't know whether we're going to see anything sensational happen here this afternoon, Peter. Maybe Melbourne have got off to a pretty good start with the advantage of a couple of free kicks. O'Dwyer and Deere. Deere gets the tap out. Now it's knocked further forward by Jenke. Kick off the ground there by Phoebe. Chance for Pritchard against the boundary line. Good gather Morrissey. Hand pass over the top, deemed a throw by the umpire, and at 99% of the time that is given as a throw, so why the players try it, I don't know. Johnson will take the free kick for Melbourne.
Lands the ball just about centre wing. In front of Dwyer, knocked away by Deere. Stretch, couldn't get boot to ball quickly enough for Melbourne. White, high kick. Healy and Collins. Healy wins out and is held. No doubt about that one.
Well played, Greg Healy.
Not the quickest player around, but he's had a lot of skills. Healy. Spalding tried for the specky over the top. Melbourne getting most of the play on their forward line at the moment. McGuinness, Deere in front, knocked away by Beveridge, albeit not very far. Pritchard, short kick to midfield or centre wing, off the hands of Morrissey and picked up by Curran. Buckenara gets Scragg. Love it. Excellent play from the Melbourne defender.
Terrific play. Put enormous pressure there on Gary Buckenara. In fact, effected a very good pickup as he attacked that ball, but Lovett was right behind him and put him right off his play there.
Umpire having a few words to Buckenara and Lovett. Deere wins that one down. Picked up by Beveridge. Phoebe on the boundary line. Goes for the centering kick. A big pack of players developing over there. It comes out to Steins.
The free kick back down the field. Ray Jenke got right on the back there of his Tingay in that previous contest there, Peter.
Kick up towards centre wing. Steins the flyer from the back. Grinter throws it out to Steins. Chance for Langford. Socket away by Healy. McGuinness first to get there for Hawthorn. His left footer out into open space on the centre wing position. Dersma off the ground. And again, gains about 25 metres for the Melbourne side. It's out of bounds at the Demons' right half forward flank.
Pretty good play by Dersma there. I thought he spotted Spalding just 10 or 15 metres up front. Couldn't quite get the ball to him though. Boundary throw in, Steins and Deere. Pritchard comes away with the football. A high kick towards the wing. Two Melbourne players fly. Johnson, Pritchard again. Johnson striving hard. Tony Hall in there for Hawthorn. The umpire will come in and ball it up. Well, we saw the reserves come off this ground about half an hour ago, and they would have done justice to a black and white minstrel show.
Mainly black.
Schwab. Kick towards half forward. There's a great mark. Not paid. Well, those marks were paid on Saturday. Buckenara. Phoebe over the top. Grinter in there. So is Lovett for Melbourne. It's tapped out. Now a kick off the ground by Phoebe. It's wide for Pritchard. Tackled by Stretch. Gathered by Tuck. Tuck's left foot kick up towards full forward and reading it pretty well. Johnson, pretty experienced. Alan Johnson takes the mark. Kicks it wide. Eichhold. Tackles brilliant by Platten. Should be penalised. Play on, says the umpire. And it goes over the line. And fair enough, Johnny Platten.
How do you get a free kick for holding the ball?
That's interesting.
So, a boundary throw in. Stretch does the ruck work for Melbourne. Free kicks in favour of Melbourne, 6-2. Two have resulted in goals. Deere and O'Dwyer. Or Deere and Steins it was, one by Deere. Dersma comes up with the ball, tries to get it to Stretch, not successful in that manoeuvre, and another bounce. Another bounce and another ball up.
You have to be, Peter.
Deere wins it away from Steins. Phoebe on the boundary line. Newport has it, but it is over the line.
That tackle of John Platten, just getting back to that very quickly, it was almost be the ideal tackle in these situations.
Yes, umpires don't seem to reward perfect tackles, which is, I guess, a shame. Steins. Down to half forward. Ayres Saw Collins, his teammate, coming the other way, and I think possibly spoiled his attempt to mark. Collins comes out with the ball off the hands of Schwab. It's over the boundary line for a throw-in at Melbourne's right half-forward flank, but perhaps a little closer to centre wing. Demons handling the muddy conditions a little bit better than the Hawks at the moment. Steins and Deer. Socket away by White, albeit not very far. Eichholt has a go, so too does Schwab. Knock on by Curran. Hall. And it will be hopefully a ball up at centre wing.
Yes, I think the umpires are in for a day. They'll earn their money this afternoon. Dennis Rich and Rowan Saws. Steins and Deer. Deer much underrated as a ruckman. Does it well. Dersma gets it out wide. Now a hand pass by Schwab. Looking for Jenke. In there is Phoebe for Melbourne. Kick off the ground, goes over for a boundary throw-in.
You mentioned Greg Deer, and he's actually the leading tap ruckman in the league at the moment, to something like 168 taps for the season thus far.
And he's got a lot of strength in his body, Ross. See there, he gets in front of Steins again. Gets the tap out. Now Steins tries to get it down towards Phoebe. Hard up against the boundary line. The desperation by the Hawthorn player there. Chance for Healy. He probably was holding Collins on this occasion.
Yes.
And Collins will take the free kick for Hawthorn, much to the delight of the Hawthorn supporters, who obviously can see the free kicks a little one-sided at this stage. Collins' kick drops in short. Good punch by Platten over the top. Kick off the ground by Johnson. Grinter in the centre against Dippy Domenico. Dippy Domenico taps it on. Johnson again gets his kick away, back into the centre. Chance for Newport. Melbourne on the run. Eichholt forward of centre. The short pass is okay and it finds Spalding. He gives the hand pass back to Eichholt. The kick is wide. A kick off the ground here by Grinter is there. It's gone over, surely. Hit the post.
Oh.
Well, I'll be. It looked to me, Peter, as though it went over the line and then swung back and hit the post.
I think it was worth 3 points. Half of it went over and half of it didn't.
Fair enough.
That sand there just holding it up.
There's a lot of sand there. The ground staff here, including Ian Collins, the general manager of the ground, worked on it yesterday feverishly. Even the super sopper got bogged, I'm told. Not surprising. The car parks here today aren't in use. A few patrons not too pleased about that, although they wouldn't have got their cars out if they drove them in. Boundary throw-in, right half-forward flank for Melbourne. Steins was there, won by Steins. Picked up for Hawthorn, I think it was Jenke. Phoebe, Condon. Comes Melbourne's way, albeit not very far. And another bounce. Ball up will take place.
Be interesting to be John Platten's hairdresser after today's effort.
I think he might need some of the Selsun. Steins and Deer, the Hawthorn man on this occasion, wins the kick for an on-the-shoulder infringement. Deer going for distance with the kick, only gets about 40 metres though. Tuck, that's a better kick. Buckenara at the back, leaves it for Dunstall. His first touch, hooks it across his body. Don't think it'll be a score. We'll see how we go off the ground here. One behind by Buckenara.
A great attempt there by Buckenara to kick that goal. Elected not to bend down and pick the ball up as he's running across the face of goal. Nearly came off.
Danny Hughes to Lovett. Hand pass comes to Spalding from Dersma. Up to the centre wing position. That's a crude tackle, not paid. Would have been a kick to Melbourne. Curran at left half forward for Hawthorn. There's some soccer tactics. Buckenara again at Lovett. Now Chris Muir was penalised for that, so they are consistent, and that's what Ross mentioned earlier, isn't it?
Yes, even though I would consider Gary Lyon unlucky there, Pete, he really did make an attempt, but quite right, the umpires must be consistent.
So Curran has the football. Too far out to score, I would think. Just inside 50 metres. Goes for the torpedo punt kick. Right on the goal line. Kick by Dunstall. Goes straight across the face. Now a chance for Melbourne to clear. Great pick up by Johnson. BOG at this stage of the game.
Free kick downfield.
Kicks it clear. There's a free kick. The shepherding player perhaps was Steins.
Yes.
And the infringer, Ross?
Pritchard.
So the free kick will go to Stretch. Stretch's kick towards the wing. Howard trying to get the ball out. And honestly, according to the field umpire, so he will come in and ball it up. There aren't too many dry patches here at Princes Park. This is probably the best area on the ground Howard tries to get the ball over. Pritchard's quick kick, and there's Beveridge taking a good mark, and that should be 50 metres.
Unnecessary there from Condon. Beveridge, a very tough job today. He's picking up John Platten. Interesting to see if he picks him up for the whole of the day. Platten will be running all day today, as he normally does. Beveridge has been a much improved player for John Northey, and Northey's given him a big task today, so it'll be interesting to see how he handles it by the end of the day's play.
So similar position to Peter Curran's kick, just inside 50 metres. Beveridge kicks it up towards the 10-metre square. Here's a chance for Collins to kick Hawthorn out of trouble. Mark should be taken by Di Domenico, it is, and he runs on quickly. Left foot kick is a bit of a scrubber, in towards centre half forward. Hall can't control it. He tries to get the hand pass out looking for Pritchard. A kick by the Demons towards half forward. It comes clear to Eishold. His hand pass is effective. Goes up towards the full forward area. Scragged as he went to the ground was Howarth. Now it's a bit of a raffle at centre half forward for Melbourne. 45 metres, maybe a little closer, 40 metres from their goal. The umpire will come in and ball it up. As Greg Healy drags himself up from the sodden turf here at Princes Park.
Ball up 35 metres out from the Melbourne goal. And picked up by Tingay on a stretch. I'm going to mark to Gary Ayres in the last line of defence for Hawthorn. Calling for it is Pritchard. Just outside defensive 50, looks for Tuck, who I think would be suited by these conditions here this afternoon, if anybody is. Lyon, Phoebe, might have been touched off the boot. In fact, the umpire did call play on. Steins, Lyon, Beveridge. Onto Steins again, socket away by White. Chance for Tingay, couldn't do much with it. Steins looking for a free kick. Schwab. On to Condon. Condon's kick is high up towards left half forward. Good attempt to mark by Phoebe. Love it. Courage shown by the Melbourne defender there.
Great play.
And the ball finally booted clear for Melbourne by Phoebe. That was Dersma. Spalding got a hip out. Umpire says no free kick, perhaps strange. Ball booted up by Newport, but a safe mark taken by Langford, who gets called.
Yes, Howard thought that Langford was playing on and tackled him accordingly. The umpire not giving Chris Langford any benefit there by the free kick.
And Langford's kick up towards the muddy centre of the ground. Now the umpire said it's a Melbourne free kick on this occasion, so some controversy in the first quarter, Ian.
Steins' kick off the side of the boot, out wide. Greg Healy has got plenty of time. Gets a short kick in towards half forward, and the mark's taken by Newport. Demons doing it pretty well. Newport's kick. Don't quite know whether it's within goal scoring distance. Chance for Hawthorn to come clear. Now Melbourne. Chris Mew. Tackled by Howard, a little too high.
It's unlucky there, Howard. He really did persist, having contested the mark earlier with Gary Ayres and nearly held it. Got a quick kick away, then went and chased the kick again and nearly upset Chris Mew.
Mew's kick out wide finds Deer, and the Hawks are out of trouble. Deer has the ball at half back. He plays on. Pretty good play by Greg Deer. Can't quite get his foot to the ball. Spalding did well. Now Deer kicks it away over the forward side of centre wing. Chance now for Condon. Condon kicks it towards the centre half forward position, and Buckenara takes the mark. Buckenara now looks for Dunstall. Out in front. Good mark by Dunstall.
Gee, they did that well. They really opened up the forward line there. Buckenara ran so very hard in front of Lovett. Lovett had no chance of picking up, and a fine kick from Condon to find him. Then Buckenara did what a good forward should do, turned around very quickly and kicked well to Jason Dunstall.
Dunstall's kick from centre half forward is okay.
Well, I was going to mention earlier, we might not see too much of that play today because of the conditions. Players being able to kick over fairly long distances accurately because of the conditions, the weight of the ball, the greasiness of the ball. But a perfect example there of how to open up your forward line and give your full forward a perfect opportunity to lead into space. And two very good kicks, one from Condon, then one from Buckenara, and then a finishing third kick from Jason Dunstall.
Whitman on for Hawthorn. Didn't see who went off. 13 plays 19, Dunstall's first goal. 6 points the difference. Di Domenico off the ground, only as far as Phoebe, who gets dispossessed, and Whitman, who's just come on, gets some mud in his eye. As the umpire awards a free kick to Hawthorn.
Whitman replaced Anthony Condon, Peter.
Thank you, Ross. McGuinness From right centre wing for Hawthorn. At the back is Lyon. Into the muddy centre of the ground. Picked up by Tingay. Onto the run of Stretch. Tuck in pursuit. Stretch gets his kick in, but straight to Chris Langford.
Poor kick by Stretch.
Especially as there was an open goal. Well, Dwyer had a meal of marking it overhead. Collins. Ayres. And White comes up with the ball. Jenke. Gary Ayres booped the ball pretty quickly. Curran can't handle it. Neither can Stretch. Platten got into his back, one would have thought. And Platten gets grabbed high and he'll get the free kick. So I think Melbourne supporters would have a little bit to grouch about there.
In my view, he missed the first one.
Platten's kick dropped short. I guess predictably. Curran's attempt to mark not successful. Does get a hand pass out. I think as Tony Hall doesn't kick it too well. Now it's Newport, who's already kicked a goal for Melbourne.
Newport's kick towards centre wing. Nearly a gather by Steins. Kick off the ground by Tuck. And it goes over for a boundary throw in centre wing. Outer side. The Demons are 6 points in front. 3-1, plays 2-1. And we've got just 2 minutes left in this first quarter. O'Dwyer, somehow Deere got the ball out. And just because he fights for that front position, Greg Deere, he's rewarded with the free kick.
Yeah, good example there, Ian. Quite right. And now O'Dwyer just remonstrating, having been shown back to his mark. Gets a bit carried away sometimes, Steve O'Dwyer.
Deere kicks it towards half forward. No mark. Eyesold there. So is Greg Healy for Melbourne. And the umpire will come in and ball it up. Gee, these boys are going to be tired by about three-quarter time, Ross.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how much these heavy grounds take the sting out of your legs.
At half forward for Hawthorn, close to quarter time, Gary Lyon attempted kick off the ground. Striving for possession was Chris Whitman.
That's exactly why in some of the shorter, stockier players play a little better in these conditions, because they can maintain their strength of running right through the whole game.
O'Dwyer. Deere beats him again and gets a very effective tap out. Reading it well, love it. Dispossessed by Platten, hard up against the boundary line, but Platten can't control it. And we'll have a boundary throw in about 40 metres around from the Hawthorn goal. So the Hawks a chance before quarter time to score again.
1:10 left in the term. Deere, good punch away, only as far as Johnson. Oh, excellent smother by Whitman. Can he capitalise on that? His snapshot is off target and one behind.
It's reminiscent of the smother that trying to think, lost the player's name. Peter Curran last week against the West Coast Eagles, affected on Andrew Lockyer.
Probably the smother that won the game for Hawthorn, really. Phoebe takes the mark. He's done well in the first quarter. Not a particularly well executed kick. It finds the safety of the boundary line though for the Demons, and it will be thrown in. Just under 40 seconds left in the opening term, so maybe a chance still for either side to get one more score, although you wouldn't put the rent on it. O'Dwyer gets the front position this time, and it will be a ball up, still on centre wing. 5 goals kicked in the opening term. Melbourne has 3 and Hawthorn 2. 5 points the difference, which under these circumstances is, I guess, a pretty good lead. Now who's going to get that out? No one, it would appear. And again, a ball up, a little bit closer to the boundary line, that's all. As Grinter hurls the ball back. O'Dwyer and Deere. This time Deere wins it, but there is the siren to end the first quarter with Melbourne holding a lead of 5 points. 3-1-19 to 2-2-14 at Princes Park. Four 3 to 2 points.
Go Cats.
McGuinness 6.
I've got 7 winners so far.
Have
Stop
you?
the scoreboard now.
Oh, jeez, I've only got 2. John, that centre circle's gone already. Second quarter starts at Princes Park. The Demons leading by 5 points. And Hawthorn through Whitman up towards half forward. Dersma. out to Gary Lyon at the kick marked at centre field by Hawthorn's Greg Deere, who had slightly the better of his two Melbourne opponents in the ruck in the opening term. Tries for the spiral punt, didn't do too badly, although it is a new ball, knocked away by Hughes, and the umpire said there was some shepherding there, and it will be a free kick to be taken by Gary Lyon. Not a particularly good kick, comes out to Lovett. He has the job of minding Buckenara, and Jenke takes the mark for Hawthorn. Tingay's tackle, partially effective, and that's a great mark taken by Tony Hall, only millimetres from the ground. Probably won't suit him today, these conditions. Jason Dunstall at the back, and Morrissey tries for one from mid-air, a la John Platten in the first quarter, but registers only one behind. So the difference 4 points. Danny Hughes goes to the outer side. Dwyer and Dippy Domenico. Over the top was Greg Deere. It comes to no, it was Collins, picked up by Pritchard. Pritchard's kick into the goal square. Dunstall can't mark, runs into his teammate Morrissey, which didn't help their cause. Morrissey gets the hand pass out. Dunstall, snapshot, brilliant, and goals.
Brilliant snapshot, boy. Great work there from James Morrissey. He ran into Dunstall in the contest initially. Dunstall having got front position on Danny Hughes, who just continued to contest for the ball, and eventually in doing so got the ball out. Here we see him running into Jason Dunstall, but controlled that ball very well for Melbourne defenders around him. Equally good play there by Jason Dunstall to snap his second goal.
So the Hawks hit the front in the early part of the second term. They lead by 2 points. Dunstall, 2 goals to his name. Deere gets the tap out again. Eye shoulder chance, tries to flip it back. Now a chance for Newport. Kick over the shoulder. Did that cover the required distance? Yes. Deere's hand pass wide. Looking out there for Collins. Collins runs away from his opposition and kicks Hawthorn into their forward half. There's nearly a mark to O'Dwyer. Now a chance for Buckenara. His kick is smothered. The ball comes back to Greg Healy. He's pushed off the ball as he kicks. Whitman's hand pass, really to no one in particular. Morrissey can't kick it off the ground. It's a glue pot. Now a chance for the Melbourne player, Lyon.
He played kicking in danger, didn't he?
Well, I think yes, against Michael Tucker it was, yes.
Yes, it definitely looked like it. And Lyon takes the free kick at half back. He kicks it out towards the wing. O'Dwyer tries to tap it over the back. Eyeshold can't get the handball clear. Collins pulled off the ball. Platten's a chance. Always burrowing as John Platten. Now Tuck gets his kick away up towards the half forward area. Gary Lyon under pressure. Kick off the ground over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in about 65 metres, maybe a little more, maybe 70 metres from the Hawthorn goal. The Hawks, through Dunstall, hit the lead in the early part of this second quarter. Hall overruns it. Lyon in there for Melbourne, and the umpire will bounce just inside 50 metres. So the Hawks about a kick and a half away from their goal in atrocious conditions at Princes Park.
Yes, there should be another adjective, I think, a little stronger. Then again, I dare say the Merry Creek soil in the centre of the field is a little stronger.
There's Steins in Finch there, Peter, against Greg Deere.
There's O'Dwyer who's going crook.
Again, Deere in the front position.
Jimmy Steins will be a bit crook on your Ross. He's about 80 metres away from that.
And Deere has the free kick. On a dry day, you'd give him a chance. Today, no hope at all of getting the distance. Curran! There's one player I wouldn't have thought would enjoy the conditions today. It's Peter Curran, but it was a strong mark.
Read it pretty well.
He complements Jason Dunstall and Gary Buckenara, Tony Hall very well on that forward line. In fact, Hawthorn regard him as probably one of their top marks alongside Jason Dunstall.
He's had trouble getting a permanent senior berth this year, though. Curran from 25 metres out. Oh, it's close, I don't know. We'll wait on the goal umpire. It's a goal.
It's a good kick from there, Peter, because of the conditions. It's so very heavy there. Players lose their footing very quickly. You only need to deviate an inch either side as you go to kick with that planted foot, and the ball can so easily skew off to the side. So a very good kick there from Peter Curran.
I think it's only his second or third senior game this year, and he's had a lot of trouble, as I said, cementing a senior place in the side. And of course, with the suspension of Brereton, Anderson being out injured, and likewise Kennedy. 27-19 in favour of Hawthorn. O'Dwyer got high but had a fresh air shot. which you won't see at the US Open when our telecast begins on Friday, because Ian Robertson and I aren't playing. No comment.
Speak for yourself.
Dwyer hit me with a backhander and has given away the free kick.
Frustration creeping into Steve O'Dwyer's play. No one on the mark. Deere plays on. Gets a pretty good kick out of that muddy centre. But a good mark taken by Alan Johnson.
Hasn't he played well so far?
Oh, brilliant player, Alan Johnson. Reads the play very well. And there's a good kick too in the conditions. Covers quite a few metres. Now a chance for Hawthorn to go into attack again through Collins, and a brilliant kick by Collins finds Whitman. They've got loose players everywhere, the Hawks. Whitman's kick to full forward, nearly the mark to Hughes. They're outnumbering the Hawks. Here's a chance now. Morrissey, kick over the left shoulder, out of bounds on the full, and the Hawks perhaps should have made a little bit more of that. Running away is Johnson, kicks it wide, out towards the wing, gathered by Grinter. Kick across the shoulder by Grinter, out wide. Chance for Steins. Reading that marking contest well was Greg Healy. Tries a handball over the top. Eichhold back to Healy. Healy's short kick too far and goes over the boundary line on the full. So the free kick to Hawthorn, and they'll go back into attack. They're right on top in the early part of the second term.
Extremely bad luck for Healy there, because the play had been set up well by the Melbourne skipper. Chris Mew has the ball. Hugs the boundary line with it. Breaking away is Grinter. Howard, good knock on, finds Lyon. McGuinness's attempted tackle, not quite sufficient. O'Dwyer at the back, couldn't handle it either. Now Chris Mew, can he make something of this? He can. He's gone wide. Knock on by Platten. Comes to Greg Deere, handling these conditions excellently for a big fellow. White tries to knock it away from Hall, who was grabbed when he didn't have the ball.
He's played dropping the ball.
He plays dropping the ball. Well, Phoebe has the free kick. Phoebe, 9 kicks to him, 8 of those in the first quarter. Just off the edge of the square, or what was left of it. We can't see the markings today, of course. Dippy Domenico lies on top of it. No one gets it out, and it will be a baller.
All players picking themselves up very, very gingerly. Umpire trying to get some sort of area to throw it up. The punch goes out the back. Brilliant gather by Newport. Newport's left foot kick towards half forward. Lyon now up on the forward line. Melbourne seeing that they're perhaps a little depleted up there. Gary Lyon, who started at half back on Tony Hall.
Yeah, they've moved Sean White down onto Tony Hall now, Ian. And a good move too, because Lyon gives him far more bite up there.
At half forward. Kick off the ground by Newport. Gathered by Jenke, ineffective. Stretch, couldn't break clear. Now the ball comes clear. O'Dwyer pushed off it. Chance for Eichhold. His left foot kick ineffective. Dipper looking for the mark. Called play on. Kick goes back into towards the centre. Gathered by Phoebe. Phoebe's short pass is perfect into the pocket, and the mark has been taken by Tingay.
He's been very busy, Phoebe, and that's a fine kick in these conditions.
He's their best player.
Not only to kick the distance, but to find young Stephen Tingay in that position.
Well, I've got the strong feeling that Stephen Phoebe hails from Tasmania, and these conditions would suit. Tingay's kick has been smothered. Beveridge can't break clear of the Platten tackle, and holding the ball against young Luke Beveridge.
That's a bit hard.
And Platten will take the free kick in the back pocket.
I think under these conditions they're being a little bit tough. However, the ball hustled up towards Hawthorn centre wing position. Morrissey trips as he socketed off the ground. Phoebe again kicks into double figures now, off the hands of McGuinness. Lyon trying to burrow in and get the ball out of the pack. It comes to Spalding. He'll look for the hand pass too, picked up by Tingay again, and one behind. Excellent play by Langford.
Terrific play there.
4-3 to 3-2. The Hawks by only 7 points after Melbourne led at quarter time by 5. And that is a mark to Gary Lyon. On a dry day, Lyon, one of the better kicks in the Melbourne side, would get this. He'll be kicking from round about 50 metres.
Melbourne forwards must be in front of this situation. The ball's going to drop short. They can't be behind.
And it does drop short. O'Dwyer read it superbly. Newport's kick won't travel the required distance for a mark. That's socket off the ground, and that's a goal.
Greg Healy.
And for the second time today, Gary Ayres giving the goal umpire a mouthful because he reckons he touched it.
Yes, well, perhaps he may have, but how very difficult it is for those umpires there in that situation, such a congestion of players. You'll see the ball going in the air, Earl Sporting knocking the ball over the back. A good contest there from Greg Healy to get that ball through very quickly. And here Gary Ayres is still remonstrating with the goal umpire.
So Greg Healy kicks his second, and Greg Deere stands his ground at the ruck contest in the centre. Chance now for Melbourne to come forward through Beveridge. Beveridge is kicked wide to half forward. Kick off the ground's on by Tingay. Goes about 15 metres wide. Oh, great dive there by Lyon, who certainly added a bit of flavour to the Melbourne forward line. Here's a free kick going to be picked out of this, is there? Central umpire coming in. It is, yes.
Scott McGuinness, very untidy tackle on Gary Lyon.
So Lyon will take the free kick about 65 metres from goal. Kicks it within the 50-metre line. Hawthorn defence under pressure. There's a free kick to the Hawthorn side. It'll be taken by Pritchard. He's about 45 metres from the Melbourne goal.
That's
and
50
what
metres.
happened there? Pritchard bounced. His kick falls short. No mark taken. Punch on by White. Gather by Hall. A little high the tackle. Play on, says the umpire. Tuck's kick. Interception by Dersma. Good tackle there by Whitman. Platten kicks the ball towards the half-forward area. Good hand pass. Schwab. And it's intercepted by Lovett. Melbourne come clear. Rebound football. Hughes kick wide to Grinter. Tries a tap across the top. Di Domenico with skill. Kicks it up towards Buckenara. He flips it back. Now a chance for Whitman. Whitman's kick. Ineffective. Morrissey's gather. Comes back onto the left foot. James Morrissey. Look at this mud heap. He kicks it to no one in particular. Now Melbourne will come clear. Kick off the ground by Steins. Another kick off the ground by Newport. Went nowhere. Dive on the football by Deere. Not rewarded. Oh, look at that ball. It's going nowhere. Gather now by Curran. Kick up towards half forward. Sean White. He gets the ball out to stretch. And now some constructive football will come of it. Steins. Back over the top. Stretch falls over. Tuck goes after it. Can't gain his footing. Kick off the ground by Steins. A flip out. Here's a chance for Healy. He's pushed off the football by Platten. Out it comes now to Jenke. Jenke's kicked towards full forward, and there's a great mark. Play on, says the umpire. Listen to the Hawthorn supporters go berserk as Danny Hughes clears for Melbourne.
Well, what are you got to do? He took the mark. Now, Howard. And socket away by Grinter. Langford. Good hip and shoulder. Puts him out of business. Healy again, off the ground. Now Spalding is caught with the ball, but the umpire says no, play on. Healy again. Collins, left back pocket. Steins can't take the mark. Hand pass comes out in the direction of Stretch. Well tackled by Michael Tuck. Tingay is caught by Collins and drops the ball. Play continues again. It's out of bounds, 45 metres out. And the Hawthorn fans echoing the thoughts of this decision here, which was an absolute shocker. O'Dwyer wins it well. Beveridge gets his kick. That's an excellent goal kick by Beveridge. Great stuff from the Demons.
Yes, a great kick there from young Luke Beveridge. Only his fourth game for the season for the Demons. And he's actually interchanging with Greg Healy on and off the ball with Platten and Pritchard. Initially he picked up Platten, but they've allowed both Healy and Beveridge to run freely, which is a good move from John Northey, and a magnificent goal there. And Gary Buckenara, in fact, running up to the centre there and remonstrating with the umpire, Dennis Rich, suggesting that he thought it was a mark, which I think the 20-odd thousand people here at the ground would also concur with.
So back in the centre. It's amazing what happens in football. One mistake, and all of a sudden it goes back up the other end and the Demons kick a goal. Nothing could come of that ruck contest. Now we have another one, not far away from the centre circle. Steins gets it down. Curran can't break clear. Now a chance for Platten. Good kick off the ground towards centre half forward. Buckenara gets it out to Dippy Domenico. Dippy Domenico shot for goal is wide, out of bounds on the full. So the free kick will go to Melbourne. Deep in their defence to be taken by Danny Hughes. His kick is okay. Out wide to half-back. Player on the bottom of the pack, Dippy Domenico, can't get it out. Now there's a chance for Phoebe. His hand pass is okay, love it. Out to Tingay, and the Demons get out of trouble pretty well. The kick towards half-forward. Lyon, who's doing pretty well, can't quite control that kick, and it goes over for a boundary throw-in. Centre wing out of side. And just in Melbourne's attacking half. Gary Lyon absolutely covered in Princes Park mud. Steins tries to get it down to Lyon. Steins has a chance again. Tingay there to help out. Up against the boundary line. Tingay's left foot kick covers 30 or 40 metres, but marked there by Gary Ayres, close to the boundary line in the back pocket.
Here's his kick to centre wing. Off the ground from Whitman, or it might have been Collins who does that same again. Crude tackle by Michael Tuck, likewise Sean White. Hall onto Platten, couldn't handle the greasy ball. Tries to get clear, tackled and drops it. Well, no free kick for it. Umpire calls play on. Jenke does the shepherding for Mew. And that would certainly be a sticky wicket. Come on and bowl leg spin there from either end. He wouldn't get any turn, it'd just stop.
They don't all have a shower and come out in clean gear after half time. I give up.
We might go home, I think, Ian. No one making any headway out of that contest.
I can assure you, if I was out there, I'd be having a shower at half time.
That's just caked on that mud, isn't it, Ross?
Oh, it's
unbelievable.
Some of the worst conditions we've had for a while. Deer and Steins. Beveridge applies a good tackle on Dippy Domenico, then it almost gets the ball himself. Grinter's kick off the ground is effective, out towards the edge of what's left of the square. Howard goes for the hand pass. Let's take it away for the Demons. That was by Eishold. Now towards the right forward pocket, and it's out of bounds. About 30 metres around from the behind post. Melbourne in attack again. Leading last year's premiers in a replay of the 88 grand final. Dwyer, excellent ruck work from the big redhead. And that could have almost been a free kick for in the back. Yes, no doubt about it. Gary Ayres not getting the best of the umpiring decisions today. He reckons 2 goals were touched. They weren't. So the goal umpire said, and now Tingay's got the free kick.
This'll test him.
Yeah, on a dry day, he would get the distance. And the wet day, almost a behind. So Melbourne go further ahead by that margin, 5-3 to 4-3, the Demons by a goal.
Tremendous tussle here between two pretty desperate sides. Kick in by Langford towards half-back. Ayres can't mark the ball. He goes after it again. Comes free. Peter Schwab in there for Hawthorn. Can't do much with it, so the umpire will come in and ball it up. It's just inside the 50-metre line for Melbourne, right in front of the Carlton Social Club. Over the top, Mew couldn't get the tap out. Looking for the free kick was Jenke, but surely players would have to feel pretty stiff if they were penalised on a day like this for holding it in. Darren Pritchard in the picture there. High over the top, Howard. Once again, just a little passage of non-productive football there. So we'll have another ball up. Peter Schwab with a clod of dirt on his left temple. O'Dwyer gets the tap out. Players really struggling hard. Langford can't get it out. Beveridge doing the job on Platten. Greg Healy trying to get clear. Can't do much with it. So again, we'll have another ball up right on the 50-metre line, and perhaps a kick and a half out from Melbourne's goal.
One by Langford. Socket away by Pritchard. He'll be able to do some further work on it if he gets there first. Tackle applied by Tingay.
Great play by Tingay there, I thought.
He's done very well, Ian. He's been very productive.
About 20 players around the ball. Deer does the ruck work. Shuffle back to Deer again. Hit Collins in the back. I think that was Schwab getting a kick at it. It comes to Steins, who takes the mark. Steins goes out wide towards left half forward. Bad checking there by Morrissey, I guess. Johnson takes the mark. So a number of Melbourne players who started in defence now in attack. At least Johnson is momentarily. Gary Lyon notably. That's a beautiful kick. And it's out of bounds on the full. Now it's one behind. So a point to the Demons. They lead by 7 points now, which is well, worth a bit in these conditions. Gary Ayres. This time to the member stand side. Steins again. Throws it out. Picked up by Stretch. Ayres got a hand to it. Howard, short kick. Here's another chance for Spalding. Gives it to Beveridge for his second goal. Doesn't get a kick at it. Over to Healy for his third. And he's got his third. Great play, Demons.
Well, great teamwork there, Peter. And what a fine captain's goal to Greg Healy. But the younger players for the Melbourne side really are setting a good stand there. Beveridge, Tingay, Howard, they're working very, very hard. And then the senior players capping off there with Earl Spalding just keeping Chris Muir out of the way there. Good handball there to Beveridge. Beveridge saw that Healy was clear, who actually could have gone to Howard. Would have been kicking with his left foot, but a fine goal to Greg Healy.
So Condon coming back onto the ground for Hawthorn.
And Ray Jenke off.
The Demons doing it well. They lead by 13 points close to half-time. Just under 6 minutes left in the second term. And in the mud, Melbourne at the moment supreme. Mew off the ground, albeit not very far. And another big pack develops at half forward for Melbourne.
So the Demons into attack again with 5.5 minutes left in this second quarter. They lead by 13 points. I would think fairly handy advantage. Punch out by Steins, gather by Mew. Just gets his kick away, back towards the wing. Punch away by Johnson. Morrissey gathers, back to Dippy Domenico. Now the Hawks go into attack, up towards half forward. Chance for Hall. Caught by White. Ball comes out the back. Was that a free kick? Yes, in the back against Tony Hall. Or against Sean White, rather, to Tony Hall. And the latter will take the kick from about 50 metres. Kick slews off the side. Oh, gee, that was a fair effort in wet conditions, I would have thought.
Young Morrissey.
Pretty good effort, Ross.
Was, yes.
He didn't play Buccaneras, he wouldn't play that, would he?
I think he may have been unsighted by the Buccanara mark, Peter. Anyway, the ball will be thrown up in the forward pocket for Hawthorn. Buccanara thumps it towards goal, taken over by the young Melbourne rover, Luke Beveridge, and we'll have a boundary throw in 10 metres around from the Hawthorn goal. 6-4 plays 4-3 in a desperate struggle at Princes Park. Kick off the ground, and it's just a little closer to the Hawthorn goal, and we'll have another boundary throw in. Great struggle for supremacy. Steins tries to get the tap out. Kick off the ground, only gathers about 5 metres. Bumped by Lovett, gathered by Eishold, and the ball now perhaps out of scoring distance. And it's only about 45 metres from the Hawthorn goal.
They worked it out of danger very well. Just keep persisting. Good kick by Eishold there.
Melbourne with a very handy lead. 13 points only, but under these conditions it's probably worth about 5 or 6 goals. Free kick to Melbourne. Going to Steins.
Can't work those ruck free kicks out at all.
They've got to allow some sort of contest, Ian.
Well, you see players holding each other's elbow quite often during ruck contests. That's Phoebe.
Playing very well, Phoebe.
11 kicks so far. Knock away by McGuinness. Gets a chance to gather it in himself. It will be a boundary throw in on centre wing. 3.5 minutes left in the second quarter. It's been an excellent one for Melbourne. They led by 5 points at the first change, and they'll go in leaders at half time. Knocked down by Lyon. Platten on the bottom of it. Gets a chance to pick it up, only kicks it 1.5 metres. Spalding hooks it high. Gets a bit of distance in that kick. Ayres with one arm. Out to Collins. He picks up well shepherded by Michael Tuck too. Gets it in turn to Condon. To half forward. Lovett. Off the ground. Johnson. Likewise. Healy. Stretch, I don't think will get there before the ball crosses the line. It will be a throw-in just about left half forward flank for Hawthorn.
About 5 kicks there, the ball never touched any player's hand.
We saw Trevor Barker get a bad injury on Saturday when Georgiades socket off the ground. We wouldn't want to see anything like that happen here today. Stretch, although of course under these conditions it's always possible. Howard on top of the ball. Tingo's there as well.
Peter, I like the look of that Howard. He goes at it pretty hard, doesn't he, Ross? He certainly only has eyes for the football.
My word.
Saw him play in Sydney a couple of weeks back. He did well late in the game. No one making any real progress there. And again, it will be a bounce. Less than 2 ball up. Jamie Dursma, the last to get up. Formerly of Hawthorn, formerly of the Sydney Swans. Whitman tackled, picked up by Newport. Lobs it to half forward or right half forward flank, and the mark is taken by Spalding. Melbourne's forward line looking a little bit more dangerous than Hawthorn's at the moment. That's a beautiful kick. Langford takes the mark, probably would have got the free kick anyway. Dwyer hangs on. And Langford will, I'm sure, come to this side of the ground. He does with the kick. Steins in front, Deer at the back. Steins comes down with the ball. Out to Stretch. Langford got a hand to it. Socket away by McGuinness. Out to Mew, runs into trouble. Good tackle by Tingay. And Langford diving on top has come out with the free kick.
So Chris Langford standing up pretty well at full-back for Hawthorn. Just inside the 50-metre line. Nice looking kick by Langford. The best kick of the day so far, but there's no one there for Hawthorn. And reading it pretty well as Stephen Phoebe will come up with his 15th possession in the first half. Terrific effort. Chance for Eishold to get the ball back. Now he tries to thump it between his legs, only to find the boundary line. So at half forward, with half a minute left in the second term, perhaps not enough time for either side to score. We've got a boundary throw in. Deer, again, in front position, gets the tap out. Chance for Eishold. Ball comes out the back towards Beveridge. Goes after it again. Very, very close to the line. Collins and Platten in there. Platten tries to run away, but he's nailed in by Jamie Dursma. And the umpire will come in and ball it up. So this perhaps would be the last passage of play before half-time. Just a couple of seconds left. And there's the siren to end the second term here at Princes Park. In a replay of the 1988 Grand Final, Melbourne lead at half-time by 13.
At Princes Park, the third quarter of the replay of last year's Grand Final, but Melbourne leading by 13 points, knocked down by Deer. Under these circumstances, a pretty good lead to the Demons. Hoofed up to Hawthorn's half-forward line. Mark missed by Lovett. Socket away by Johnson. That was, well, just about his 10th kick. Pritchard, snap out of the pack. Dunstall marks on the line, but will be on a very acute angle.
The advantage there, Peter, being shown of a nice dry ball being kicked very quickly and effectively by Pritchard. And Jason Dunstall with the pace to get away very quickly from Danny Hughes, marking safely on his chest.
Well, Dunstall being brought around.
Why isn't he allowed to do that, Ross?
Well, he should be allowed to.
If he elects to play on, surely that's okay.
Got to continue on, unless the umpire decided that a couple of players outside of the mark area there that were infringing, so he must take his kick again. But
take 2, and Dunstall kicks his third goal.
Good start for the Hawks, just what they needed, I would think.
My word, and kicking 3 goals in these conditions at full forward is a good effort, one on each of the 3 quarters played so far. Alan Jeans has made a move that he's made so often before. He's brought Gary Ayres into the centre and put Peter Swab back into the full-back pocket.
Dunstall's a second attempt at that goal and brings success for the Hawks. Dunstall joining Greg Healy as the leading goal kicker in the match to date with 3 goals. Back into the centre, 7 points the difference.
Eishold gets the ball back towards Newport. Newport's kick up towards half forward. Langford's come out in front, pushed off the ball by O'Dwyer. Kick off the ground by Mew. Collins first to it. Eishold intercepts. Grinter's kick to within 40 metres. No mark taken. Lyon tries to get the hand pass away. There was a chance for Spalding there. Kick by Schwab smothered. Healy back to Eishold. Eishold against the boundary line. Snapshot. just astray and through for a behind.
Good effort and a great smother there by Greg Healy.
So Demons leading by 8 points. Hawthorn first blood in this third quarter through Jason Dunstall, and what a skillful goal that was. Langford kicks it in towards the centre half back area. Kick off the ground by Mew is fairly effective into that shockingly muddy centre. Another kick off the ground out wide. Chance now for Johnson. Johnson's left foot kick is pretty good. Eishold takes the mark, plays on. Practically in slow motion, Simon Eishold in towards the 50-metre area. Kick off the ground by Mew, doesn't go anywhere. Newport tries to pick it up in the back against Platten. No. Bursting his way through was Lyon. Couldn't quite get all the way. And Steve O'Dwyer, Peter Schwab hold the ball in right on the 50-metre line. So chance for the Demons. Half forward area. O'Dwyer, Platten gathers the football. Hand pass wide. It's a throw, according to the umpire, against Johnny Platten. And the free kick will go to Melbourne to be taken by Gary Lyon. Johnny Platten not too happy with the umpiring decision. Don't often see him remonstrate, do you?
He's got a couple of decisions go against him he's obviously not been happy with. The umpire saying that he used both open hands there to get rid of the ball.
So Gary Lyon, fairly fresh ball. Beautiful long kick by Lyon is a goal.
Jim.
Magnificent kick.
That's how to kick a football.
And that's almost goal of the round. That's a magnificent kick from there. Again, making full use of the ball when it's slightly dry in this early part of the third quarter, of new ball being used. And that's the fillip that Melbourne needed to reply to the Jason Dunstall goal and keeps them in that 14-point break. And again, Gary Lyon showing his effectiveness as a forward, proving a bit of a handful for Scott McGuinness.
Definition of luxury in football would be playing Gary Lyon on the back line. 33 to 47, 14 points in favour of Melbourne. Out of the centre, almost Eishold. Playing in front, he'll get the free kick for an obvious push in the back.
I think that's the big difference, actually, Peter, that Melbourne are endeavouring to pick the ball up.
They beat Hawthorn here in the mud a couple of seasons back. After Hawthorn got a good start, as they did today. Eishold, the ball was black. Tuck in front of Tingay. Couldn't take the mark. The ball flung out of the pack. Chance for Newport. Couldn't get boot to ball. Eishold gets beaten to it by Gary Ayres. Out it comes to, who was that, Condon. Booted away by Steins. Up to Langford, in front of Lyon. Howard off the ground. Schwab after him. Howard can't control the ball. Off the hands of McGuinness, out of bounds. Right forward pocket for Melbourne.
He's working hard, Howard, isn't he? And really does go straight at that ball with great courage.
Got a lot going for him, that young guy, I would think.
Langford and O'Dwyer. Over the top was Lyon. It was picked up by Tingay again. He's 20 metres up and 20 down. Two Hawthorn players on the bottom of the pack. It was Ayres that got the hand pass out. Beveridge, who kicked a beautiful goal from the boundary line. That stretch, Peter, yes. Yep.
Beautiful pick up with one hand.
And Simon Eishold, mud bespattered to take the kick. 45 out, player unguarded in the goal square, taking the mark as Grinter.
Well, Rodney Grinter, having come back to play against North Melbourne last week, where he came on the ground and played some very fine football, forgetting about playing the man as he occasionally does. Again today, purely worrying about the football only, playing on Robert Domenico. There's been no fireworks whatsoever. He's been far more effective.
Kick number 6 for Rod Grinter. Results in a goal. Melbourne moving away to a very handy lead.
Well, he kicked a bit of a Peter Hudson torpedo flat punt there that just wobbled through, but it went very straight. And a good kick there. And well played again by Melbourne. They're sharing the ball a lot better. We mentioned at half-time their players are breaking free more often, and their delivery to those players breaking free has been far more effective than Hawthorn's disposal, which has been under pressure, which has been great from Melbourne's point of view, putting Hawthorn under that pressure.
So back in the centre, umpire throws the ball high in the air. Deere gets the tap out. White kicks from mid-air. Newport, who's done pretty well, up towards half forward. There's a good mark taken by Collins, and he sprints away. Andrew Collins, short pass, Di Domenico, defensive side of centre wing, gets past with the help of a Pritchard Shepherd, but the kick is ineffective because it falls into the big arms of Jimmy Steins. He plays on, kicks it back into the muddy centre. It bounces favourably for Mew. Muse kick around the corner, and a great mark, not paid. White kicks it off the ground. Diving on the football there for Hawthorn looked like Tony Hall. Now a chance for Hawthorn through Curran. Whitman's kick up towards full forward, and Dunstall takes a fantastically strong mark.
Danny Hughes getting caught out there playing from behind. He's not the fastest player in the league, Danny Hughes. Jason Dunstall over the first 5 or 10 metres certainly rates very highly as one of the fastest. Hughes must be in front, and if he's not, he must have someone else in front to block that space.
Dunstall, goal number 4. Hooks it badly, and it might be through from behind. It is.
Jason Dunstall not as effective with his goal shooting as he has been in the past. He kicked about 5 points last week, and in fact on that occasion just jabbing at the ball. Certainly his planted foot moved a little with those greasy conditions underfoot, just not following through as he normally would.
Hughes. Morrissey underneath the ball, knocked down by Deere to get it away from Steins. Hawthorn player Gary Ayres got ridden into the ground. Curran can't get a kick at the ball. Newport tackled well. I don't think we've seen more than one decision today for holding the ball, and yet we have had some excellent tackles out there. One of John Platten's in the first quarter. It was a perfect tackle, not rewarded. Steins, beautiful backhander. Gets the ball some 15 metres upfield on the muddy turf. Now it goes into the cricket pitch area, and players could disappear there. And instead it will be a ball up from umpire Dennis Rich. Just moving to some firmer footing. Deere over the top of Steins, gets it out to Ayres, whose kick is partially smothered. Stephen Stretch picks up the ball beautifully and did well to get a boot to it. Hooks it some 25 metres further downfield. Collins and Healy. Collins being hung onto by Healy.
Yes, free kick, Peter.
Now Schwab tried to play on, but the whistle had gone, and Tingay returns the ball to Collins, who will take the free kick for Hawthorn at left centre wing. Andy Collins looked for the pass. Johnson got in the road initially. Morrissey, that might have been almost construed as an illegal hand pass, but Pritchard takes advantage of the loose ball. Dunstall at the back, has to knock it away from Hughes. Plenty of Melbourne defenders there in numbers, and that will be a free kick for in the back. Lovett will take it.
Lovett's really nullified Gary Buckenara's effectiveness today. He's done a very good job. Mind you, it certainly is a backman's day today, Ian, isn't it?
Perfect situation for defenders, Ross.
Lovett decides to play on, just about gets caught with the ball. Opportunity for Platten inside the 50-metre mark. Hall to Curran, to Deere. Deere has a shot at goal and has put it through.
Well, did the umpire not miss the play on and handball situation there anyway in the first place? But Greg Deere taking full advantage of the mistake there by Melbourne. He's been a very effective ruckman. I mentioned earlier on that his statistics in tap-outs is certainly very high. He's the leading tap ruckman in the league. Not so good around the ground as Jim Steins is, who's one of the leading kick getters in the VFL, but certainly very effective today has been Greg Deere.
Badly needed goal for Hawthorn. They still trail by 13 points, and we've got 17 minutes left in this third quarter. Pretty important term, I would think, because players will be very, very tired in this last quarter. Beveridge can't get his kick away. Now, kick out by Ayres, up towards half forward, and a good mark taken by Lovett. He plays on again, Brett Lovett. Kick wide, Stretch, playing the ball in front of him. Held perhaps when he didn't have it. Play on now. White, kick off the ground by Healy. Tuck does the chasing. Healy, another kick off the ground, goes over for a boundary throw-in. So some pretty desperate stuff from Hawthorn. I think they sense that they'll need to put in a big effort in this third quarter. Half forward flank for the Hawks. Too far out for them to score. Punch away. Lands in the arms of Sean White. His short kick finds the safety of the boundary line and will have another throw-in. It's about 15 or 20 metres away from the previous throw-in, so a little further out of danger for the Demons.
It's on centre wing. Again, won by Hawthorn, knocked back by Johnson. Deere doing well in the ruck today and kicked the last goal for the home side. Steins looking for a free kick. There is none there as he drags Platten off the ball. Healy hands it back to the umpire. Throw up again. Ineffectual ruck work. It's like a rugby scrum out there. And of course conditions now in the Melbourne sports arenas very close to resembling those we've had up in Sydney the greater part of this year for the league competition up there. And again, not too much progress being made. Once more we'll see a ball up.
Actually, Jimmy Steins would be used to this kick in front of him and chasing on again, wouldn't he?
Sean White, yes.
Sean White.
Gaelic football, yes.
Yeah.
Well, conditions not unlike, I guess, those at Croke Park. That's a free kick for on the shoulder. He had to give it one way, I guess. And the luck goes Hawthorn's way.
Played a tremendous game, Greg Deere.
He has, for a big man under these conditions. He's had the better of O'Dwyer. Back today after injury. Curran in front, almost the mark. Condon, Morrissey, gets claimed, tries to get it to Platten. Johnson, as always, in the road. And the noise from the Hawthorn stand would indicate that that kick is out of bounds on the full. Free kick will be taken by Chris Mew. What's he doing down there? Mew's kick predictably won't get the distance. Oh, Steins could have marked that, but I guess in true defender's style, didn't really try for it. He wasn't to know that there was no one near him. And went for the boundary line. Deere with Steins. Over the top is Sean White. And again, close to the boundary line. In fact, it has been counted over. Steins again, gets the front position. Chance for Condon. It's a high tackle. Will it be downfield? Yes, it will be. Dippy Domenico to take the free kick. No, it's not. It's going back. That's Tony Hall with the free. Long way out from goal, about 70 metres. Dunstall almost, but not really a mark. Hawthorn crowd getting excited.
Yes, so they haven't paid that today so far, Peter, so to be consistent, they couldn't pay it there.
So a throw up. Close to Hawthorn's goal. Steins and White for the Demons to try to get it away from the goal. Hall dispossessed pretty quickly, and again it will be a ball up.
So it's only about 10 metres out of the Hawthorn goal, and the Hawks really need another one. They trail by 13 points. It's come to the goal square. Now a chance for Dunstall. He's pulled off the ball. Johnson tries a kick off the ground. A real struggle in there. Newport for the Demons pushed off it, and we'll have another ball up. So rugby style football nearly in the goal square for Hawthorn. Kick by Pritchard, smothered. Chance for Newport. Now a kick by Hawthorn towards goal is offline, out of bounds on the full. And we'll have a free kick in the back pocket to be taken by Sean White.
It came from Gary Ayres, I think.
So White to kick the ball in for Melbourne. Covers 40 metres, out of the danger zone temporarily. Chance for Platten, head first. He's held around the neck, and Johnny Platten will take the free kick. You wouldn't think he played for Hawthorn. The jumper, hardly recognisable. Kick up towards full forward. Chance for Whitman over the top. Dunstall. He's still got the football. Now, should he be penalised? No.
Have a look at that. 4 Melbourne defenders all around him, gave him no chance to break away. And in fact, Rodney Grinner asking the question, was that not holding the ball? That's going to be a ball up.
Certainly pinned in, and only metres from the Hawthorn goal. Curran remonstrating, asking perhaps why a free kick wasn't given to Hawthorn. Doing the ruck work over the top. It's rushed through for a behind to the Hawks.
6-5 to 8-5, 2 goals the difference, so Hawthorn has gained 1 behind in this quarter. Melbourne led at quarter time by 5 points. Handled these conditions well. Oh, a magnificent grab over the top, played to Gary Lyon, is it, or Spalding?
Spalding, yes.
Will Spalding, left half-back flank. Up the centre wing, and there's Gary Lyon. Is that a mark?
Oh, what a great mark.
He plays on. Collins got the front position. Tuck comes out with the ball. Hawthorn skipper's kick, dropping a little bit short, and the mark is taken by Whitman. Whitman at right centre wing. Started on the bench today for Hawthorn. He's gone for a pass wide in front. Hall over the top. That's a magnificent grab under these conditions. Hall, the hand pass on. Not good play.
Chris Mew.
They might get out of it with a free kick to Mew.
Gee whiz.
Very lucky, Hawthorn, because the error was there.
Very lackadaisical there from Chris Mews, who went to take the handball from Tony Hall. Goodness me. For an experienced player, that was very poor play.
Is he playing at half forward now, Ross?
Well, he followed Earl Sporting down.
Mews kick. Long but slightly inaccurate. Whitman getting the front position, very hard to pick the ball up. And very close to the boundary line. Ayres does get a kick in. Platten flew high. Down it comes to Buckenara. Kicks it over his head. Newport in front. Couldn't grab it. Morrissey, well tackled. Shuffles it out to Dippy Domenico, who got a push in the back and will get a free kick.
Well, he certainly made sure the umpire saw that. Mel Sporting saying, well, it was more than an act than a free kick, but the umpire said quite correctly it was an infringement in the back. And Dippy Domenico, who's had a fairly quiet day.
He has, hasn't he? 6 kicks so far. Very hard to get firm footing out there. Melbourne got 2 goals from free kicks in the first quarter. 1 came also from the 50-metre penalty for Greg Healy. He's kicked 3. Dunstall has 3 for Hawthorn. Getting the distance would be a problem from there. Not for Dippy Domenico, it's a goal.
Of course, in all fairness to the players today, statistics not always the indicator, because a lot of balls have been kicked off the ground and forced forward with hand and foot that aren't always accredited as a handball or a kick. Therefore, players can be very effective, but statistically, it won't always show up.
Good kick there by Robert Dippy Domenico. Perhaps a little fortunate that that was one of the only real grassy areas on Princes Park Oval.
Not so many.
The Hawks within 6 points. Steins jumping into him was Deer, and the free kick will go.
I can't see that being a free kick in. I mean, that's surely part of ruck play.
Well, the free kick has gone to Jimmy Steins, and he kicks Melbourne up towards half forward. Punch away. Chance for Beveridge on the bottom of the pack. He can't do anything with the football, so the umpire will come in and ball it up. Just outside the 50-metre line for Melbourne. Hawks have come back hard in this third term. O'Dwyer tries to get the ball out. Condon just gets his foot to the ball. Chance for Ayres. Now a chance for Deer. Pulled off the ball by Newport. He's pushed off the ball by Deer. Condon, free kick to the, much to the disgust of fellow commentator Peter Landy. Newport will take it for Melbourne between centre and centre half forward. Newport's kick to within goal scoring distance for the Demons. Nearly a mark to Spalding. Chance now for Tingay, off to Lyon. Lyon's shot for goal hits the post.
Gary Lyon looks 100% better footballer on the forward line, doesn't he?
And again, a fine piece of play there from young Stephen Tingay. Can't help but be impressed by his play today, as with Beveridge and Howard.
Yes, the newcomers for Melbourne doing well. It's made the difference between the two sides at the moment. Tuck, high kick, travels only 20 metres, stretch underneath it. Hall reads it a little bit better. Tony Hall, left half back. Kick predictably, dropping short. And Morrissey, now it's Curran. Reads it better. Curran onto the left foot. Tries for Buckenara. Not Stein, but Lovett's done a great job on him today. And it comes to Condon. And the mark to Pritchard.
Again, the advantage of playing in front. The ball will always drop short in these conditions. Backmen must be in front.
So Pritchard from, I guess, a similar position to that of Dippy Domenico some 3 or 4 minutes back to have a shot at goal. Possibly a little bit further out. But makes no mistake.
Darren Pritchard's been quite a busy player for Hawthorn. Not only has he picked up a number of kicks, he's also been very busy forcing the ball around, chasing, tackling. Been a very effective player today for Hawthorn. As Jamie Dersman's in a fair bit of trouble, so he might be coming off the ground for Melbourne. It's a problem with a knee, perhaps. And both Brett Bailey and Ricky Jackson warming up, so there could be 2 changes made by Melbourne.
Pritchard's first goal. Hawthorn trail by 1 point now, 53 to 54. And Melbourne player getting ridden into the ground will get a free kick for a push in the back. That's Luke Beveridge, barely recognisable, and gets up limping.
Jackson on for Dursma, Peter.
And Jackson, you'll notice him, number 45. He's also playing his 50th game today. He's
badly
unattended.
hurt Beveridge too, Peter. Couldn't take his kick. Sean White takes the kick and thumps it 50 metres towards goal. Chance for Melbourne. Crashing his way through Spalding. Off to Lyon. Snapshot by Gary Lyon is offline, very wide. Over the line on the full. So the free kick to be taken for the Hawks in the back pocket by Chris Mew. Demons struggling. A couple of players injured. Kick goes wide to half back. Hawks get out of trouble again. Langford, left foot kick back into the centre. All players that get through. Curran at the back, doing well. Curran's left foot kick towards full forward. Pushed off at Buckenara. Play on, says the umpire. Bucky looking for the free kick. Melbourne players go on with it. Grinter and Buckenara have a few words.
Frustration shown there for Gary Buckenara.
Free kick going to Grinter out of that. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. And Grinter gives the familiar sign to Gary Buckenara. Rodney Grinter goes on with it. Kicks the ball 45 metres out towards the wing. Diving on it, Eishold. He can't get the ball out. Holding it, says the umpire. And the Hawk fans give a loud cheer.
That was a bit tough. Still, they have played a few of those today. Here's a chip shot to Michael Tuck. Sean White backs underneath it. Great mark.
Oh, A for effort there by Sean White.
Yes.
Beveridge off the ground and Brett Bailey on for Melbourne.
Tingay attempt to mark, not successful on the edge of the square. Tackle applied by Dippia Domenico. Doesn't succeed in getting the ball. And umpire Rowan Saws will ball it up. Right on the edge of what is left of the 50-metre square. O'Dwyer, haven't seen much of him this quarter. Shepherding by Tuck, should allow Dippia Domenico to get there first. He had the ball kicked away. Strangely, Michael Tuck had a free kick played against him for that earlier. Newport, Stretch, beautiful handball by Melbourne. Stretch doesn't quite make the distance. Howard attempting to pick up the greasy ball, not easy. Flicks it out to Spalding. Tries to get under his left foot. Excellent shot. Jackson underneath it and marks.
Great work again by young John Howard.
Jackson plays on, snaps and puts it through. Tremendous play. That's his first touch, 4 points.
Tell me why he was allowed to play on and they took Dunstall back up the other end.
Very difficult to work out there, Ian, but fine play. Fresh legs from Ricky Jackson. He's always been a very nippy player with fresh legs there. Great play from Spalding as well to get such a big kick. Fine mark there, but also great play from John Howard to attack the ball initially and get the ball to Spalding, who moved very well for a big fella to kick long on his left foot.
Certainly an advantage for Melbourne to have a guy like Ricky Jackson on the bench, and as soon as he came on, was effective. O'Dwyer gets the tap out. On the bottom of it there, can't quite pick that player up with plenty of endeavour. He'll be the last one to come up.
Greg Healy.
Greg Healy.
It's not unusual.
Tremendous stuff by Healy. Ruck contest again. O'Dwyer. Dippia Domenico. Newport. Oh, look at that slush in the centre. Terrible stuff.
The old Merry Creek soil on the nose.
Unbelievable.
Funny, a few years ago the reserves games were cancelled prior to the senior matches because of the conditions being so bad. They weren't today.
Dear. O'Dwyer gets the tap out. Stretch. Still running pretty freely, Stephen Stretch. Tries to bump Condon off the football. Tucks there. Pushed off it by Spalding. Gets his kick away wide. Out there, Hall. Diving on it, White. Chance now for Melbourne to get clear again. Greg Healy's kick up towards half forward. The Demons have done pretty well. Collins held. All striving pretty hard. Jackson and Collins. And Collins takes it over for a boundary throw-in. It's about 50 metres from the Melbourne goal. We've got just under 3 minutes left in this third quarter.
Boundary throw-in. To be contested for Melbourne by Steins, who wins it. Holding the man decision, going Hawthorn's way, and it'll be taken by Darren Pritchard. A lot of height with the kick. O'Dwyer at the back, the spoil. Newport runs into trouble and gets out of it miraculously, but the kick not well directed, and Pritchard again taking the mark for Hawthorn. Almost in the same position as he took the kick before. Spiral punt kick from him, this time is a little bit better. White at the back went for the big fist. Grinter, clearing kick for Melbourne. McGuinness attempted punch away, not successful. It does come out to tuck. Pritchard again. Yes, I think it's Pritchard. Yes, it is.
Bailey on the ground, Ross.
Yes, he came on to replace Beveridge.
Langford and Steins. Healy soccers the ball off the ground. Jackson. Newport. Centering kick. Howard looks for the free kick and could have been paid one. Not from the umpire's point of view though. Boundary throw in right next to the behind post, and a real chance for the Demons to go in at 3/4 time with a very useful lead. They've led at all the changes so far. Mew trying to shuffle the ball out the back. Doesn't succeed in doing that. It's flicked out to Jackson for goal number 2. He misses right across the goal and out of bounds on the other side. That's the Melbourne bench. Left forward pocket for the Demons, down to Platten. And then he had his head pulled off, and though he did duck the tackle.
Tell you what, he ducks his head a lot, doesn't he?
All the time, yes.
Gets away with it though.
So Platten from the right back pocket with the free for Hawthorn.
So Platten kicks it in short. What a great mark taken there by Ayres. Very, very heavy ball. Gary Ayres, experienced in front of the pack, kicks Hawthorn out of trouble. Over the wing. No mark taken. Driving hard, White, and the ball goes over for another boundary throw in. Just seconds left in this third quarter, and the advantage is with Melbourne by 7 points. 60 plays 53. Close to 3/4 time. O'Dwyer, Deer over the top. Greg Healy gets a kick. Play on, says the umpire. Newport held when he didn't have it, but the ball goes over the line as the siren sounds to end the third quarter at Princes Park. And Melbourne 9-6-60. Lead Hawthorn 8-5-53 at 3/4 time. He's taking him over near the crowd, is he?
Yeah. No, expect no, not.
Nothing.
Match that has seen Melbourne lead pretty well all day at Princes Park. They go into the final quarter with an advantage of 7 points over last year's premiers. O'Dwyer down to Newport, and that's the way to start the final term. Spalding plays on, gets it out to Stretch. They really did have to stretch for it into the goal square, and the mark not allowed. Howard, valiant attempt to pick the ball up, but some pretty stern opposition from the Hawk defenders. The end result of which is a ball up, only 5 metres out from the Melbourne goal.
If only Stretch had been able to grab it.
Knocked down by Steins. Now that was socket off the ground, and it's a goal.
Gary Lyon there, Peter.
A great start for Melbourne.
My word.
Lyon's second goal. And what a way to start the final term with an advantage now of 13 points. That will be hard to pick up.
Yes, we see on the replay, Gary Lyon just again showing the effect in the ball to boot as quickly as possible, particularly in these conditions. The ball a little drier. In fact, Earl Spalding's handball initially to Stephen Stretch put him under trouble, or in trouble, should I say, but they've got out of that nicely.
13 points the difference. O'Dwyer and Deer again at the centre bounce. Hawthorn need the quick reply if they're to get back into this match. And under these conditions, it is pretty hard to see that happening. The Demons leading by 5 points at quarter time, 13 at half time, 7 at the final change, as umpire Rich again puts the ball in the air.
Deer gets the tap out. Phoebe tries to knock it further forward. Kick out of it by Ayres is good play. Now a chance for Lovett for Melbourne. kicks it wide, overrunning it Bailey. Dippy Domenico caught, just gets his foot to the ball. Kicked by Ayres towards half forward. And coming in, nearly taking the mark as Grinter. Has it been paid? Play on now, says the umpire, and the kick goes wide. It's marked by Greg Healy, close to the boundary line. And he's between half-back and centre wing. The Melbourne captain, 17 possessions so far. Pretty good effort. Kick in short has been marked by O'Dwyer. So Melbourne starting this last quarter pretty well. Handball back to the captain. Shepherd looked a bit crude behind play. Kick by Healy is intercepted by Collins off to McGuinness. McGuinness's kick around the corner, and the mark has been taken by Phoebe, who played a sensational first half but did not get one possession in the third term. Stephen Phoebe, nice looking kick towards centre half forward, nearly a mark. Kick off the ground by Jackson, kick off the ground by Tuck, out wide Lyon, takes possession, Jackson, fresh player, shot for goal by Jackson. No mark to the kick off the ground by Tingay goes through for one behind to Melbourne.
It was touched.
Exciting stuff. Start the last term. Dippy Domenico to kick the ball in for Hawthorn.
And he favours the member stand side. Only gets about 30 metres with the kick though. Socked away by Collins again for Hawthorn. This is perhaps the best part of the ground turf-wise. Collins well tackled by Jackson. Out it comes to Stretch, who gets bundled over the line by McGuinness. Bailey onto Lyon. Ayres into his back. Nothing for it from the umpire. Ayres boot the ball quickly. And a mark taken by, that is Eichel. Wait till he turned around.
Played pretty well too.
Simon Eichel. Oh, shocking kick. It might just be inside. Platten knocks it away from Bailey. Throw in about 45 metres out from the Melbourne goal. Langford and Steins to contest the ruck duel. Spalding. Back it comes to Stretch again. Eichel has it knocked away. Very close to the boundary line. Picked up by Collins. Condon in front. Steins knock on. Stretch again. But a third possession in inside a minute. Holding the ball. Claim the Hawthorn players. And the free kick going to Pritchard. His kick again, predictably dropping short. Lyon in front. Attempted soccer away by Langford, not successful. Back it comes to Newport. Ayres. High ball to O'Dwyer. Deere knocks it away from him. Onto Curran. Soccer away again. Finally picked up for Melbourne by White. His kick up to the half-forward line, and Earl Spalding taking a very good mark onto Jackson. He's gathered some life to their forward line. In front is Dippy Domenico for a strong mark.
What a great mark by Dippy Domenico. Under lots of pressure there if he'd have dropped that. Dippy Domenico's kick wide to the half-back flank area. Gathered by Langford. Handballs it back to Morrissey. It just got stuck in the mud, and there's Melbourne players everywhere when it gets caught there. Collins gets the handball away. Langford wide on the wing has come all the way up from full-back. Chris Langford thumps it forward, and it breaks down because the mark has been taken by Brett Lovett, who's done a wonderful blanketing job on Gary Buckenara. Obviously the conditions not suiting the Hawthorn player. But Lovett's kick in short. Goes through all players. At the back, Ayres can't keep his footing, but he goes after the ball again. It's held in by Bailey unfairly, and Ayres will take the free kick perhaps around the neck. So Gary Ayres moved into the centre at half-time. Punch on by Morrissey. No gather there. Kick off the ground by Jackson wide. Stretch falls over. Platten onto it quickly. Gets the handball out wide. Interception by Lovett. Holds onto the ball nicely. His kick is ineffective. Platten's kick. Left foot. Up to the goal square and hurried through for a rush behind to the Hawthorn side. So Melbourne working overtime, and about 7 minutes have gone by, and it's very precious time for Melbourne. They hold the advantage by 13 points.
Yes, that's a pretty good lead under these circumstances. O'Dwyer, not a mark. It would have been his second for the day. He hasn't got any other stats to worry the statisticians. Morrissey. And that will be a free kick, will it not, to Melbourne?
Yes, to Alan Johnson.
Certainly one of Melbourne's better players again. 5 marks and 13 kicks so far. Keeps it close to the boundary line. Knocked down by Langford, who soccers it off the ground. Morrissey in front. Not too much on offer down there. Phoebe was it with the kick. Well, good hip and shoulder. That was by Gary Lyon. At the back, Pritchard to Dippy Domenico. Centering kick. Jackson in front.
He's done well since coming on too.
Yes, you'll remember his 50th game. His first kick resulted in a goal. And if they beat the reigning premiers, it'll be even bigger celebrations for him. Steins, left half-back flank for Melbourne. High kick to centre wing. That's a courageous mark taken by Collins. And a chance to put Hawthorn back into attack. 18.25 minutes left in this match. Still time for Hawthorn to get up if they're good enough. Knocked away from Curran. Out to Dippy Domenico. Good tackle, Tingay. That was a throw, not seen by the umpire. Jackson on the boundary line, and the mark taken by Newport on centre wing.
Good kick by Jackson. I feel as though he spotted Greg Healy.
Oh, Healy.
Only 15 metres further afield. Another short kick. Platten's there, fighting hard for the football at ground level is Jackson. Platten gives away the free kick, and very, very disgruntled was Johnny Platten. So Jackson to kick Melbourne into their forward half. Chance now for O'Dwyer. He can't get his hand to the ball. Now Lyon out to Healy. Good kick by Greg Healy up towards half forward. Howard. Oh, that could have been in the back against Stretch. And the free kick will go to Schwab. He plays on. Caught by Howard. Ball at centre half forward. Tuck gets the hand pass away to Mew. Mew's kick in towards the centre, and Ayres takes the mark for Hawthorn. Players very difficult to pick up now. Ayres kick in towards Platten. What a great mark by the Hawthorn Rover. Slipping and sliding in that centre mud. Kick out wide, and an equally as good a mark taken by Steins at half-back for the Demons. He gets the hand pass off to Phoebe. Phoebe's long left foot kick out towards the wing. Ayres dispossessed by Eishold. Eishold kick off the ground. Up towards half forward. Lyon and Mew chase it at the boundary line. Looms up and we'll have another boundary throw in. At least it's in Melbourne's forward half. They lead by 13 points with 16.5 minutes left in this last quarter.
Well, Hawthorn got to get 3 goals. Pretty hard to see it happening. Spalding gives the hand pass back to Tingay. A knock on, attempted soccer off the ground, unsuccessful. Finally goes Melbourne's way, out to Healy. He can't pick it up, the boundary line is too close. It'll be thrown back into play. Still left half forward flank for Melbourne. Healy can't get clear. Some tunnel ball. Newport off the ground. Jackson attempted to do likewise. Picked up finally by Mew. In front, Dippy Domenico can't grab the mark. Back it comes to Ayres. Playing a good last quarter for Hawthorn. Oh, that is an amazing mark taken by Sean White. Just backward of the left centre wing position is the Irishman. One of the runners got in the road over there. Dippy Domenico kicks it into another mud heap. Whitman. Langford. Just off the edge of the square. Langford into the Merry Creek soil midfield. Curran tries to tap it out. Picked up beautifully by Grinter. Grinter's kick up towards the right half forward flank. And here's Johnson, who always at some stage during a match gets onto the forward line. His kick is slightly off target. Still a chance for Howard. He can't pick it up and the umpire will ball it up. Only a couple of metres from the behind post.
Yeah, one wonders how Alan Johnson gets on his own on the forward line.
It's amazing, isn't it? Gary Lyon does the ruck work, only succeeds in hitting it to Collins, who looks for a free kick, but the ball has crossed the boundary line and it will be thrown into play. Under 15 minutes left in the game. Hawthorn needs 3 goals to get their nose in front. O'Dwyer with Langford. Over the top is Gary Lyon. Eishold's kick should have been a goal. It's only one behind.
I just wonder, Peter, whether the youthful legs of Melbourne will get them through this game. Hawthorn, the second oldest side in the league, and Melbourne, the equal youngest, and that could be the advantage today.
It might be just what is required at the end of this game. Condon gets it back to Platten, who kicks up towards half-back.
Platten's kick, dropped mark there by Whitman, gets the handball back. Good punch on by Deere. Oh, what desperate stuff. Brilliant football by Sean White. He put his body in where it was really going to be hurt. And if that can't inspire the other 17 on the ground, well, I don't know what will.
Certainly inspired me.
Magnificent. Brought tingles to me as well, Ross. Newport can't get the ball out. Play on. Advantage paid. The ball up towards half forward. Good mark taken by Langford.
Hey, Dwyer's got to get in front. He's been behind all day there.
Stats show that.
Langford, steady as a rock at fullback. Thumping kick back into that centre. Punch on by Curran. No one home. Reading the play again is Johnson. Can't get away. Handball is unfair. Taken away by Ayres. Here's a chance for the Hawks now. Hall at half forward, ducking and weaving, trying to get clear. Ayres will be caught by Grinter. He just gets his foot to the ball. Good gather by Hughes. Great tackle by Hall. Now a chance for Pritchard. Pritchard goes in an open goal. A free kick's been picked out of it. It'll go to Melbourne.
Back to Danny Hughes.
Didn't quite see that one.
There's an infringement after Ayres disposed of the ball there.
So umpire Rich on the spot there. And the free kick to Melbourne. Looked very, very dangerous for the Demons there, with Pritchard gathering in the forward pocket. But Hughes now will kick them out of trouble. Nice long kick out towards the wing. And there's a good mark, not paid. Steins plays on, kicks it up towards the wing. Coming in strongly is Howard. Now it comes out wide to Spalding. Shrugs the tackle and gets it off to Howard. He runs away from McGuinness. Howard's left foot kick up towards the forward pocket. Punched away. Here's a chance for Tuck. Right on 50 metres. Kicks it back towards the wing. Ayres drops a sitter. Goes after it again. Handball's really to a Melbourne player. That's how difficult it is to pick up who's who out there. And the ball goes over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in slightly forward of centre wing in Hawthorn's forward half.
Hawthorn needing some goals quickly. Steins loses that one out. Tingay's kick is short. McGuinness and Spalding taken over the line by the Hawthorn player, and it'll be thrown in left half forward flank for the Demons.
Some tired players.
Don't blame them. The mud is taking its toll. Steins got two hands to it. Didn't get it very far. And again a ball up. 12 minutes left in the game. And Paula Steins wins it. Down to Pritchard. Out of bounds again. Hawthorn may be gaining a couple of metres, but that's all. Greg Healy directing traffic like a policeman.
Calling for Ricky Jackson coming the ball. He's very tired, Greg Healy.
Steins, good use of the body. Fine hip and shoulder. The umpire has blown the whistle. Free kick going Hawthorn's way.
Throwing the ball. Good example there, Ricky Jackson, as Greg Healy was calling him, and he's back to the play. Healy absolutely exhausted. Ricky Jackson, fresh legs, should be busting it on the ball right now.
Gary Ayres trying to lift the side, the Hawthorn vice-captain. At the back, Steins. In front was Condon. Phoebe goes for the tap out. Grinter can't handle it. Neither can Curran. And the mud just caked to these players.
Grinter did pretty well there to keep that ball in. I thought they were nearly away, the Hawks.
Ruck duels again ineffective. That was Lyon bursting his way through. Might be against Bailey, that tackle. It'll be taken as a Whitman or Collins. It's Whitman. From the edge of what's left of the square, Hughes, a big punch away for Melbourne. Johnson, Phoebe, dispossessed by Pritchard. Almost a throw. And again, a stalemate develops, and the only option really is a ball up. As Melbourne press on towards a win to interrupt Hawthorn's run of 10 in a row, which is a club record. Deere taps it down. Curran does get a quick kick at it, only as far as Alan Johnson. Stretch off the ground for the Demons, gets it up almost to the half-back line. He goes a bit further to get it up to the centre wing.
Well
goes
played.
a bit further again to get it past that position. Schwab tumbles over the top of his opponent. Great effort by Spalding. Collins is in the road for the Hawks. Punts it back, but only as far as Newport. In front again, Spalding tries for the hand pass, not successful. Breaking away finally for Hawthorn is Schwab.
Schwab gets it out wide to Pritchard. Pritchard runs through centre half back. 2 touches on the ground, and Darren Pritchard kicks it towards half forward. Steins can't mark. Good recovery there by Grinter, out to Phoebe. Phoebe's kick from a standing start, no mark taken. Melbourne outnumber 3-1, but good play there by Condon, and he gets the ball back towards Whitman. Very, very difficult now for all players. Pritchard's kick towards centre half forward. Curran's in the van. Over the top comes Johnson, and the ball is kept in at centre half forward for Hawthorn. And Ross, never before have I seen it more than 2 kicks from goal when it's within the 50-metre line here at Princes Park.
At least 2 kicks. Melbourne 1 change, 2. Brett Bailey off the ground for that indiscretion. Luke Beveridge back on, wearing the number 8 Guernsey.
Steins trying hard. White tries the handball to Newport. Ineffective, and the umpire will come in and ball it up once again. 9 minutes left in the match, and Melbourne leading 68-54.
And Hawthorn have added only 1 behind in this final quarter, which really has been fairly lacklustre. It's been a good contest, but not too much scoring. Umpire Rich has decided again on a bounce.
Players would be enormously tired here. It's just see now which players can push themselves that little bit further to get that ball.
Tap out comes to Phoebe, wobbles it off the side of the boot, picked up beautifully again by Stretch, seemingly revelling in these conditions. Gary Lyon, who's been brilliant on the forward line today after starting in defence. Loose ball, finally picked up. It's Beveridge, wearing Graham Yates's jersey. He, of course, was a late withdrawal from the Melbourne side. He was replaced in it by Bailey. Peter Schwab to take the free kick for Hawthorn. Schwab from the left half-back flank. Time running out for the Hawks. And with mistakes like that, it's pretty hard to see them getting up from here. Steins at right centre wing.
Morrissey off and Madigan on for Hawthorn in his first game.
Yeah, I dare say remember it. Collins missed the mark. To his credit, got his kick in, but it is out of bounds, right in the middle of the interchange area, which is right half forward flank, virtually for Melbourne. Simon Eishold in the front, looking particularly tired, but the scoreboard will spur the Demons on. Over the top, Lyon again. Hand pass comes to Healy, who gets decked, and Greg Healy will take the free kick. He's kicked 3 goals for Melbourne, all of them before half-time. 22 possessions to the Demon skipper. Doesn't get too much distance with the kicker. Dwyer comes out and takes his second mark for the Dog.
And the reason being, Peter, because he is right in front.
Almost a mark in front of goal. Dipia Beneco comes up with the ball to get it to Langford. Good tackle, Healy. And the mark to Condon at centre half back for the Hawks.
Condon plays on quickly, out wide. There's young Madigan. What a good mark. First gamer, and looks a likely type. Nice long kick too by the fresh player. Up towards half forward. Good gather there by Hall. He gets the hand pass out wide, intercepting Steins. Off to his fellow Irishman in Sean White. The ball close to the line. Chance now for Phoebe. Handball back. Hawthorn have the numbers. Ayres can't get his foot to the ball. And the ball is held in by Gary Lyon. Chris Whitman, the Hawthorn player, and we'll have a ball up just slightly forward of centre wing in the Hawks attacking zone. Steins and Deer. Steins gets the punch straight over the boundary line. Precious seconds ticking away now for Melbourne to cling on. Just 6 minutes left, and they lead 10-8 to 8-6. Jim Steins and Greg Deer, they've had a tremendous battle, along with Steve O'Dwyer, and the ball goes over for another boundary throw-in.
Pretty close to centre wing. Phoebe being spoken to by the runner as Steins takes up his position. And one by Melbourne. Eishold knocks it down though to his opposite number 25, Curran. Condon. Short kick marked by Danny Hughes. Hughes just up from the back pocket to repel this Hawthorn thrust. And he scored 1 behind in the last quarter. Lyon again. Underground hand pass onto Simon Eishold. Pritchard, who's done well in the last quarter for the Hawks, takes it out of bounds. Hawthorn's only other defeat was in round 1 against Collingwood. Melbourne trying to make it the second. No one picking it up after that boundary throw-in. Under 5 minutes now left in this match. Highshold, the last player to get up. He's got 2 jumpers on. And one can't blame him for that today. Steins and Deere, backhanded, tried by the Hawthorn player. Condon boots it out of the pack. No one in particular. Again, it's out of bounds, but Hawthorn gaining, I suppose, about 15 metres. That's about all.
And well played by Sean White there. Nothing to lose, just forced that ball out of bounds.
Again, the throw in right on the CUB sign, or what's left of it really. White, desperation, he tries to punch the ball clear. And out go Gary Ayres and Stephen Stretch. And the Demons get it back to the centre wing. So they're playing the right game at the right time. 4 minutes left of this game. Knocked down by Madigan. Highshold, or was it Phoebe that got tripped up? And there's Madigan. He's the cleanest player on the ground. He's the easiest one to pick up. He gets it to Condon. Hooks it across his body. And you'll see Johnson in the road. Dispossessed pretty quickly is number 9 for Melbourne. Tony Hall dives on top of it. That's Stephen Newport. Is it underneath all that? Yes, it is.
They've had some great work as midfield, Melbourne. Newport, Highshold, Healy, Stretch, Phoebe.
Newport. Nice kick too. Torpedo. Nearly a mark to Steins. Yes. Paid. And the ball will go back to the big Melbourne ruckman on centre wing. And he'll put the Demons into attack. Newport dropping in short. Steins kicks it towards half forward. Spalding can't mark. Great tap on there for Melbourne. Picked up by Tuck. Tuck kicks it over the centre. Now here's a chance for Melbourne to come forward through Johnson. Johnson kicks it towards full forward. O'Dwyer, good punch away from Langford. He goes after it again. Kick off the ground by the big fellow into the forward pocket. Kick off the ground by Dippy Domenico. Goes over the boundary line for another throw in. But it's deep in Melbourne's scoring zone now, about 35 to 40 metres around from their goal. They lead 10-8 to 8-6. So tremendous opportunity here for the Demons with 2.5 minutes left in this last quarter. Chance now for Highshold. He can't get the ball away. Greg Healy on the bottom of it and will have a bounce. So with just 2 minutes left in this match, Melbourne look like the winners. They lead by 14 points, 68 plays 54 in the replay of the 1988 Grand Final.
Only 1 goal kicked so far in the last quarter. That was by Melbourne. And led by 7 points at the previous change. They've led all day, really, apart from John Clatton's opening goal. And have been the better side. Big punch away by Madigan. Onto Dippy Domenico. As Ian said, he does look a likely colt. And the umpire's given a free kick to Melbourne. Ross, what was that?
In that congestion, a free kick to Gary Lyon. The umpire's picked it out, and there's a big pack of players there. And the way Chris Langford's hanging his head, it's actually going to Steve O'Dwyer. Confused me, the umpire, and a few of the Hawthorn players as well.
So Steve O'Dwyer, only 2 marks and 3 possessions so far. There's a chance to sew the game up if it wasn't sewn up already. Not the greatest of kicks though, and Ayres will cut it through for 1 rush behind. So a point to the Demons with only 1 minute left in the match. They will win it. 8-6 to 10-9 as Ayres boots the ball back into play. We'll have to do that again because the goal umpire hadn't finished waving the flags. But it's all academic. It's been a good performance by Melbourne. They did have similar conditions at the Sydney Cricket Ground last Friday week. Hawthorn played at Subiaco last week, so they've certainly had a contrasting conditions. Is that a mark? No. Umpire will bounce it, ball it up. Simon Highshold, there's mud in your eye.
He had a nice feed there, didn't he?
Doesn't taste too good. Princes Park turf, very much on the nose. Tackle applied by Ayres. And as the siren is due to go any tick at the clock, they're already singing in the outer. Some sort of revenge for a 96-point thrashing in the grand final last year. Gary Lyon knocks it down to Gary Ayres, who punts Hawthorn up towards midfield. Phoebe should get there first. No tuck off the ground. It's Dippy Domenico actually. Steins at midfield. Curran tries to burst his way through. Good tackle from Phoebe, who wins the ball. Kick smothered. And again we'll see a bounce.
So just seconds left in the match. And Melbourne, who have led nearly from the start, will be rewarded with a much-deserved victory. There's the siren. Melbourne win.
So Melbourne victorious in the replay of the grand final. They handled the conditions much better today than Hawthorn. The Demons victorious by 15 points. They led by 5 at quarter time, 13 at half time, and they outscored the Hawks by 2 points in the last 2 quarters as well. Hawthorn had their chances. Possibly in the first half they looked better, but Melbourne really revelling in the mud, and they made the most of their opportunities. So Hawthorn finally dropped one after last being beaten in the opening round of the season.